Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here. Today we are talking about the movie The Gray Man. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie yet and you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie first before you watch this review. The Gray Man is streaming on Netflix right now, so if you have an account, it's up there for free. It's a movie based on a book. It's about a government sort of hitman, a sort of assassin who finds some information about the organization he works for, and then another government hitman tries to kill him. All right. So as far as what I liked about the movie, overall, I liked the cast. Chris Evans, I think, was really good in this, really entertaining, and it's fun to see him playing characters other than Captain America. He's done it before, of course, but yeah, he was good in this. I always like Ryan Gosling. He's I don't know, he's sort of limited in his range as an actor sometimes, and he's a little nasally, but yeah, I always like him. I think there's something sort of interesting about him. I love Ana de Armas. She's my favorite. She's the reason I watch this movie, to be honest. I mean, I like the other two guys too, but like, I'll pretty much watch anything she's in. So she's always good. I feel like she's really getting better as far as like losing her accent and everything, and growing as an actress. So it's good to watch her do stuff. She didn't do much in this movie, but I liked the things that she was in for it. And yeah, I liked Regé-Jean Page in here as well as the like boss, I guess, or head of whatever organization they worked for. I thought he was pretty good. Jessica Henwick, I like her as well from Iron Fist, I guess is what I know her from, and she was in Game of Thrones and the new Matrix movie. But yeah, she was good in this. And Alfre Woodard, she's always good, and it was good to see her in this as well. So although, again, just one scene basically, but she was good. Like I said, I really liked Ana de Armas' character in this. I wish she would have had more to do, and I would like to see more with her. So if they do a sequel, it seems like they are planning on doing a sequel. It's based on a series of books, so I would be in it for that. I think most of the spy stuff in this seemed pretty authentic to me. Of course, I've never been a spy. It's something a spy would say, but yeah, it seemed pretty authentic as far as like the passwords and the call and response kind of stuff that they all did. That seems like, okay, it checked out. It seemed like, okay, I believe you. It seems like I believe that you're spies. I think most of the music was pretty good. They had Black Keys in here. I like the Black Keys. The song Silverbird kind of plays a couple times in the movie, especially toward the big kind of climax near the end of the movie, or I guess the very end of the movie. So yeah, good stuff. There was some stuff with a grenade where Ryan Gosling sort of pulls the pin on a grenade and drops it at their feet. And they both have to kind of jump away. I think Chris Evans says ballsy or something, but yeah, it was a fun scene. I think they do another kind of callback scene, a second grenade scene that I liked as well. There's a scene where he's handcuffed to a prison bench, or I'm sorry, not a prison bench, but a bench in a park sort of. And he's sort of being attacked by these various different, by one group of people, and then he's sort of being defended by another group, I think. It was a fun sort of tense scene. It was interesting and enjoyable to watch. It also didn't necessarily make a lot of sense, and it seemed a little hard to believe that they were having such a hard time hitting him behind that bench, but it's still a good scene, pretty fun. And I did like the nobody throws a loaded gun thing, although I didn't necessarily exactly get what they were going for with it, but then they do the kind of callback. And yeah, so I like that. And don't throw loaded guns. It's good advice. So good. As far as what I didn't like about the movie, I guess maybe just because it was on Netflix, but it really felt like I was watching a TV movie. And I was trying to figure out exactly what made it feel like a TV movie, because it didn't feel cheap. It was on location. They had stuff like that, but maybe I think because it did feel like they were setting up series, maybe that's what it was, or maybe it was just because aside from, the 4 or 5 main actors I mentioned in the beginning, I didn't recognize a lot of the other people, whereas in a movie, they would probably be sort of character actors or people that you do recognize, where in this was just a lot of people I didn't recognize. But I don't know. The sound mixing I didn't think was great. I've always had that issue with a lot of stuff I watch at home. I don't think I have the most sophisticated setup. I could probably use like a sound bar or something to help with the mids to bring that up. But yeah, again, I didn't love the sound mixing in this. I think the movie's a little too long. It's over 2 hours, and it doesn't need to be that long. Action movies, hour and a half, hour 45 at most. Come on, that's the standard for a reason. It takes itself too seriously. I think the movie were a little more tongue-in-cheek or a little more silly, it could maybe work, but it seems like it really thinks it's a big deal, and it didn't work for me. I didn't like that. There's too much destruction and just over-the-top kind of violence and ridiculous stuff. Again, I realized, they've got to have the spectacle, and that's what they're paying for, and that's what that's why the movie was so expensive, on top of course, paying Evans and Gosling and the Armas. But yeah, I don't know. For me, just in general, when action scenes go on too long or too over the top, I get kind of bored. You know, there's a lot of plot armor in this movie for the main characters. Everyone who shoots at them seems to have the aim of stormtroopers, or anyone who the A Team would ever face on their show in the 80s. So just people always missing at them and shooting at them all the time. I didn't particularly care for Fitzroy and his niece. I'm not a huge what's his name, Billy, whatever his name is, Billy Bob Thornton. I'm not a big Billy Bob Thornton fan in general. I liked him in Fargo, I think, and he was okay in Sling Blade, but yeah, I didn't really care for his character too much, or his niece very much. I mean, I understood the point of it and everything, but I felt like either they needed to develop that more, or that should have just been the main point of the story, and if that were it, I would have been more interested in that. But to me, it just kind of felt like kind of tacked on just a little extra, thing to add to his character, and it didn't work for me. There's a torture scene that I didn't particularly like because, again, just a little too over the top, and I don't know, it seemed gratuitous, so I didn't love it. There's attempts at comedy in this that generally don't work for me. There's a couple kind of funny things, but for the most part, a lot of the kind of humor, a lot of the funny lines just landed flat for me. I didn't like a lot of the action. I didn't like the way it was directed. It was a lot of shaky cam stuff, and a lot of it was just too close to see. It was kind of like a Paul Greengrass movie, or like a Christopher Nolan, especially kind of his earlier like Dark Knight or Batman Begins, where just the action's so close you can't really see what's going on. And it's weird because these guys know how to shoot action, or at least they've done it before. So I don't know why I didn't like it in this, or why I didn't like the way it looked in this. There was a couple scenes where I thought it was pretty obvious it was a stunt double for Ana de Armas. I could be wrong, but it didn't look like her. I thought that in general, the depiction of the CIA and the agency, I didn't love it. I guess I've seen this a lot all the time, where there's a lot of backstabbing and double crossing, and bad people working for the company and everything else. Who knows? Maybe that's true, but I guess at this point I've seen so much of it that I'm just kind of bored of it. I think the characters are mostly pretty unlikable. Chris Evans is, I think, supposed to be unlikable because he's sort of a sociopath. But Chris, or what's his name, Ryan Gosling's character is not particularly likable either. Like I said, Billy Bob Thornton's character is not very likable. So I don't, other than Alfre Woodard and maybe Ana de Armas, yeah, I didn't really like most of the characters. Evans' look, it's a stupid thing to care about, but he looks stupid. He's got a mustache. It's dumb. And even worse than that, he's not wearing socks, which just bothers me. Again, it's a stylistic choice. It doesn't matter. But for whatever reason, to me, it makes it seem very like contemporary, but also like very current. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't imagine people doing the no socks or very, very short socks thing for a long time. So I don't know. I just imagine watching this movie in 10 years being like, why isn't that guy wearing socks? That's weird. Who knows? I could be wrong. I didn't really care for Regé-Jean Page's character, or didn't really understand. He didn't seem too believable. I mean, I thought he did a good job with the role, but he just seemed a little young, I think, maybe for that character. And also, I just didn't like his character. He wasn't a very likable character. Like I said, a lot of this felt like it's all been done before. There's a scene at the end where I think Ana de Armas' character has a shot on Chris Evans' character, and Ryan Gosling tells her to forget it, and because he wants to fight him, hand to hand, mano a mano kind of thing. That's very cliche. I'm done with that. I'm sick of that. That's just boring. I would have much rather him been like, yeah, just take the shot, cool. And then he just sat down and smoked a cigarette or had a drink or whatever, In the ending, I didn't really care for the ending. I thought it was kind of dumb. And obviously they're setting up a series and they want to make more of these movies, and who knows, maybe they will. And honestly, if they do make another one, I probably will watch it because I do like Ryan Gosling and I do like Ana de Armas. And they were in Blade Runner together. And of course, Ana de Armas and Chris Evans were in Knives Out together. And I think, I want to say one of them is working on Glass Onion too, or somebody, I could be wrong. But either way, yeah. And like I said, didn't like the ending, didn't really like the way that they resolved everything and the way that it wrapped up. And I wasn't really interested in what they were trying to set up for the future movies. So other than that, it's directed by the Russo brothers, who directed Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and Marley and Me, Me and Dupree, I think, something like that. Some Community. So yeah, I know I like them in general. I'm really surprised how much I didn't like this movie, or how different it really seemed than the rest of the stuff that they've done. Joe Russo shows up in a cameo at the end. He's sort of the boss, one of the main kind of head guys of the new corporation, or the whatever part of the CIA that's now taking over or assuming control. He was also in Avengers Endgame, I believe. He was the guy who lost his husband in the like support group at the beginning. Apparently, like I said, it's based on a book. I didn't write down the name of the author. It was adapted by Joe Russo and then Markus and McFeely, who also wrote the Endgame movies and a lot of the MCU movies. I noticed they wrote Thor: The Dark World too, which this seems more like Thor: The Dark World than like Endgame or Infinity War. So, oh, the little girl in this is apparently Trudy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I didn't realize when I was watching it, but I saw that later and I said, oh, cool. Yeah, there's another one where the Rotten Tomatoes score, the critic score is pretty low. I don't remember offhand what it is now, but and the audience score is pretty high. So I think critics are like 30 or 50, and then audience is like 80. It's probably changed since I looked at it, and I haven't updated it since then. I watched this movie last week. I just didn't. I wasn't super pressed to do a review of it, I guess. So yeah, it's one of those where there's a big discrepancy between critic and audience, and I can see why. I can see why audiences are generally like, hey, I like the actors. There's enough action that keeps me going. The plot's not too confusing, so I can more or less follow it, and the stuff that I don't understand doesn't bother me too much. So, hey, all right, it's a good movie. And the critics are like, well, no, this is just, nothing. This is literally gray. This is the most boring thing I've ever seen. So it makes sense. It's got a $200 million budget, tied with Red Notice for the most expensive Netflix movie. And it definitely looks like they spent a lot of money on it, but I don't know if it was money well spent. I guess we'll see. It's always hard to tell with Netflix. They don't release any of their figures or anything like that. So yeah, Evans, initially they actually wanted him for the lead, for the main character, which is, I think it was 6 or something stupid like that. And at one point, Brad Pitt was involved for that character, and then Charlize Theron. They were going to do a gender swap version with Charlize Theron, which maybe could have been interesting. That was the other thing I guess I noticed early on in the movie. Ryan Gosling's character at the very beginning basically like is tracking down and killing somebody, and that person ends up being another agent who's involved, and he's like number 4 or something like that, I think. And then he's like, oh, they're going to come for you too. The issue I had with that is I didn't know who that guy was. Like, he was just some actor who I'd never seen before. It would have been really cool if they could have got a cool cameo from like a Brad Pitt, or even a Chris Hemsworth, or somebody who the Russos have worked with before, who they know. Would have been cool. And it didn't have to be a big major guy. It could have been Bruce Campbell or somebody. But yeah, just some nameless kind of stunt actor who I wasn't familiar with. Didn't work for me. So stuff like that is, I think, what really made it feel like a TV movie to me. So anyway, it sounds like they want to make sequels. There's, I think, a whole series of books here. So I guess we'll see how it does there. As far as my score, I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. It was not very good. I think it was kind of boring. I did actually fall asleep in one part, full disclosure, only for a couple minutes, I think, but it's during the airplane scene where they were fighting on the airplane, and then I blinked for a second, and next thing I know, they were falling out of the airplane, and it was very confusing and hard to see what was going on. So I think I did nod off for a second there, but yeah, I really didn't like that scene where they were jumping out of the airplane either. So yeah, if you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.